What I'm holding in my hand, I believe to be the world's cheapest brushless quadcopter. I paid $18 for this little brushless quadcopter on AliExpress. I'll put a screenshot up there to show you from the app. This is the H16. It even has a 1080p camera here on the front of it as well, and it has optical flow. And it weighs about 130 grams, so it's well under any restrictions of, the 250 gram limit. It is foldable, of course, and it ought to be a pretty fun little flyer. I just can't get over the price because it wasn't more than a few years ago. It was rather uncommon for a brushless powered drone to to be under $100. If you found an $80 brushless drone, that was pretty good. But under $20, $18 of free shipping? I mean, come on, that's just crazy. So I thought I'd give this a flight and see how this drone works. Now it's got some LEDs on the bottom. It's got some white LEDs here on the front. As I mentioned, it's got the optical flow here on the bottom. So what that does, that'll look at the ground and try to hold position. I kind of wish it didn't have that because usually these drones with optical flow, they're not as aggressive flyers. So, it may not be the quickest drone just because it's going to try to hold position. Now it uses Wi-Fi to transmit back to an app. So this is a little Wi-Fi antenna. So it'll transmit back to the app on your phone, and that app, I'll try to pull up here what that app is called. And that app is called the Wi-Fi UAV app. I'll put a screenshot from the Play Store here for what that app looks like. And that'll let you see the video feed coming into your phone. And of course, if you want to record that video or take photos, it's just going to be over the Wi-Fi. So your phone's just going to save the image that comes in. There's no SD card on this little drone. Now it does not have a motorized camera, though the instruction manual and the controller both have controls and mention that you can control the motor, but the motor in this, and you can control the tilt in the camera, but you can't. That you would hear a servo if it did. So that's just, maybe they have a different model, or maybe they decided to remove that feature to keep the cost down. I don't know. I kind of wish it didn't even have a camera, because then you could probably sell this for like under 15 bucks and make it really, really dirt cheap. I mean, $18 is already cheap the way it is. They also mentioned some obstacle avoidance in the instruction manual, and you can turn that on and off with the controller, but it doesn't, there's no, infrared sensors with little clear bulbs. It doesn't have that. So that's another feature that, they mentioned, but it doesn't seem to have that. Now it's powered by just a 1S LiPo. So it's an 1800 milliamp hour 1S 3.7 volt little LiPo battery. So it's, it's as small as you can get. And it's, on brushless motors, usually you see at least 2S, but it seemed to fly pretty good in the house when I was just testing it for a moment. I was testing the optical flow because that camera is looking down at the ground and it's analyzing the ground, so trying to hold position. So if you have your hand under it, it'll follow your hand as you move it. And that's a way to test if the optical flow actually works. So it's kind of like a poor man's GPS, because it's using the camera on the bottom to look at the ground. You can see the box for this drone, the H16 drone, and it mentions air pressure. That means it has altitude hold. And it does have 360 flips as well. And here is the controller. Now these antennas are fake, so you don't need to worry about putting them up if you don't have to, because there's no wire in here. So they're just pieces of plastic, and they're a complete waste. I don't know, they put them on all these drones. Here is your clip for your phone to put it in there. So this is what it says on these arrows here, that this is your motorized, they call it ESC up and down, which is weird. I mean, camera, I'm sure. They don't do anything. This is your 360 flips off to the right. This is your 3 speed rates. This is what it would say is optical avoidance, but it doesn't do anything. This is headless mode. This is your power button, and this is your auto takeoff and landing. You can also unlock the props by just doing both sticks down and in. Oop, and I went a little, I pressed too hard. Both sticks down and in, and then you give it throttle and take off. To do a gyro calibration, but both sticks down and out, will do the calibration of the gyro for this drone. All right, that's enough jibber jabber. One other thing I want to mention, the little sticks you saw that fly off, I'll put it back in. They are stored in here because it does come with a rather nice carrying case. So to get into the carrying case, you need to take the little gimbal sticks off. It also has some spare props in your Phillips screwdriver and a little USB cable, because that battery, I didn't show you guys, but the battery does charge off of this little, and I always have trouble finding the little micro USB spot here on the bottom of the battery, and it has a red light which will shine until it goes out, and when it goes out, you know that the battery is completely fully charged. Your instruction manual's in there, and a QR code as well for the app. So let me get it all powered up, connected to my phone, and let's get up in the air and see how this drone flies. So I'll be right back. Okay, I have it connected to the app. We'll just start recording some video so you guys can see it is a 1080p camera. So that's pretty good for something under 20 bucks. But keep in mind, there's no image stabilization. It's going to rock and tilt. May have jello wobble. We'll have to see. Brushless motors usually help to reduce jello wobble since there's less vibration on a brushless motor. Now you can just give it throttle. See here? And you just can do that to unlock the prop. So you don't have to even do the down and in with both sticks that I mentioned. So you can do the gyro calibration. It'll beep. Both sticks down and out. Then when I first powered it up, the lights will flash as well, letting you know that it's doing a gyro calibration at power up. So let's go ahead and start recording video. Let's make sure we get video started here. And there it's ding. So we got video recording. Let's just go ahead and do the auto takeoff first. And what I want to do first here is I want to show you guys the obstacle avoidance. Excuse me, not the obstacle avoidance, the optical flow. Let's see if it'll follow my hand, and see it does. So the camera is seeing my hand and it follows it. So if you have it up in the air, not too high, it's a very calm day, it's going to kind of fly over and hold its position, see? And that's what it does. It's like I said, it's sort of like GPS, but it only works if you're, you know, at a certain height. If you're too high or too close to the ground, it won't. So see, it's kind of flying back. But yeah, this is great. I mean, for $18 for a brushless drone is just crazy. So let's look at the, this is the lowest rate, you can see. Let's go up to the higher rate. Y'all's faster, and so is the pitch. Let's see, is there a third rate? Yes. This will be our fastest or sportiest rate. Now, it's not going to be super quick, I said, because of that optical flow position hold. It's not bad. But if they actually didn't have that, this thing could be much sportier. You see how it doesn't have as much pitch. The drone pitches forward, and the more pitch the drone has, the faster it'll fly. And because the optical flow is trying to hold position, the drone, they don't want the drone to be really fast, because then the optical flow can't work. So yeah, it flies really, really nice. Especially just on a 1S LiPo too, so. Let's go up to that. That's the slowest rate there. Let's go. There's a very slight breeze. We'll keep it in the third rate. Yeah, the optical flow really just keeps trying to correct. And that sort of just makes it a little less fun to fly, because I don't like that. It's trying to fly over and correct itself, which is common. See how it wants to fly back? See, it's trying to fly back now. Yeah, it works pretty darn good, but again, I really wish it didn't have that optical flow, because that just really makes it a lot less sporty. The yaws, and the yaw, it can be a little funky too there. Almost like there's a bit of a sluggishness to it. Again, I feel like this is the optical flow doing some weird stuff. Because in the highest rate, the yaw is pretty quick, but there it's sort of like was slow to respond when I went back the other direction. But again, for $18, I can't. I'm not going to be overly critical of anything, because it's literally brushless. Come on. All right, guys, let's see if we can do some 360 flips here. Let's press on the bumper here, and it flips pretty good. Let's see if I'll do it all 4 ways. And I do that when you're relatively early in the flight. Let's see, will it do forward? No. So it only does left and right. See, it doesn't do forward flips. Some of these drones don't do forward. They just do right and left. So that's all you got to know on that. Otherwise, it flies pretty decent. The optical flow, obviously, is, the limiting factor on this. Let's try turning that obstacle avoidance thing and just see if that's doing anything with it. No. Boy, it got really, really sluggish when I turned that on. It seems like when I did this inside, like, look, I turned that on and look, I can barely even move. It's like it acts like it has it. See, now I turn it off, it works fine. But we can try it here, but I don't see how obstacle avoidance would work because it doesn't have those sensors. So let's turn it on and see if it does, it's gotta be visual. You know what, it is sort of stopping. But I can still move it forward. So I think that was just optical flow. So yeah, it doesn't have it. Whoa, let's turn it off. Yeah, so I mean, you can turn it on, but it doesn't do anything because it doesn't have those infrared sensors, which is what a drone would use at this price point to be able to stop. So I don't think they even advertise that on the listing. I'd have to double check. Overall, not bad, not perfect. Again, a lot of this optical flow, and I know it looks a bit goofy here, guys. I've flown hundreds of these drones, but the optical flow keeps trying to correct. Let's try. Nope. So yeah, it beeps just like a 360 flip would do. And now we do have a low battery, so I don't know. What I might need to do is just try charging a battery and try this one more time. Let's stop recording video, and that way we got it saved. See, the optical flow is really causing issues with this at times. But all right, guys, that's wrap up the review of this little drone. If you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing. While you click the bell. That way you're notified every time I do upload a new video. And as always, guys, have a great day.
The power of the dark side.